Hello everyone, I'm Charles from the Nintendo Nerds, and on the very first episode of the Nintendo Nerds podcast, Zach and I briefly discussed what we would like to see for the future of the Super Smash Bros. Series. Today, I'd like to go a little bit further in depth about what I would like to see for Super Smash Bros. In the future. Stay tuned to hear my opinions on that. Welcome to another episode of Nintendo Nerds. Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of Nintendo Nerds. I'm Charles, and again, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about what I'd like to see for the future of Super Smash Bros. So, first off, I want to start out with a statement. I feel like there aren't enough Fire Emblem stages. Or, for that matter, enough Fire Emblem songs. Okay, so, there's 3 Fire Emblem stages. There's Arena Ferox, but that's only on the 3DS version of Super Smash Bros. There's Castle Siege, and there's Colosseum. None of those stages are tournament legal, unless you put them in Omega. But I'd really like to see stages from the Fire Emblem series. I'm not exactly sure what, but maybe take a look at Fire Emblem Warriors and take a stage, take a platform, do kind of like the Super Mario Brothers Wii U stage on Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. Do kind of like a switch between different parts of areas in the Fire Emblem series. Or maybe do that for Hyrule or Fire Emblem Warriors. I think that would be very interesting. Now, as for music, I am very, very fond of the Fire Emblem Awakening soundtrack. It's such a good soundtrack, even the battle music. Now, I'm not really a man of listening to battle music when it comes to video game soundtracks, but Fire Emblem Awakening did it really well. I absolutely love it. I'm usually more of a kind of chill music fan, not really a chaotic battle music fan. But, you know, Fire Emblem Awakening did pretty well. Now, let's be honest here. I haven't exactly played a Fire Emblem game in my life. Well, that's not exactly true. I've played Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, but I didn't finish it. But what I did play of it, I liked it. Let's be even more honest. The next few games I'm going to be talking about, with stages and music, I haven't exactly played either. Except Breath of the Wild. I haven't finished Breath of the Wild, but at least I've played it at all. Let's start out with Super Mario Odyssey. I was listening to the Super Mario Odyssey soundtrack earlier on today, and I think Jump Up Superstar is a song that Nintendo would definitely put in the Super Smash Bros. Game that's coming out for Nintendo Switch. I don't know why exactly I think Nintendo would do that, but it just seems like a song Nintendo would put in the Super Smash Bros. Games. As far as stages go for Super Mario Odyssey, I would really like to see a stage based on the Lake Kingdom. Just because it's such a beautiful kingdom. I think for the stage mechanics, I would like it to be kind of like a Super Mario Wii U-esque stage. You know, where... Oh, that's what it was called. It's called the Mushroom Kingdom. The Mushroom Kingdom stage. Where they switch between different scenery from the latest Mario game that released on the Wii U. Well, not Super Mario Maker, but I mean, like, when the Wii first came out, it was Super Mario U, I think is what it was called. And they have a stage based on that. I really think I'd like to see a stage like that, but with the Lake Kingdom. And if not that, I think just put a platform over top of the Lake Kingdom, kind of like Smashville, or a town and city. I think that would be really, really pretty. As far as the soundtrack goes for that stage, I think from the Super Mario Odyssey soundtrack, I'd like to see songs, of course, relating to the Lake Kingdom. Lake Lamode 1, I think is what it was called, I listened to earlier today. Lake Lamode 2, and maybe even some songs related to the Super Mario Odyssey series in general. So moving on to the Legend of Zelda series, I'd like to see a stage based on Breath of the Wild. So more specifically, I'd like to see the stage based around the 3 dragons that are in Breath of the Wild: Dinral, Farosh, and Nidra, which I'm just now realizing are actually named after 3 goddesses that are more prominently seen in Ocarina of Time: Din, Farore, and Nayru. So I'm thinking the stage could transition between the Eldin Province, where Dinral is located, and then they could go all around east of Faron Tower, above Lake Hylia, and then also to the Gerudo Highlands, where Farosh is located. And then it could go to the Lanayru Promenade, on top of Mount Lanayru, and somewhere close to Lanayru Bay. So that way we can get a picture of all 3 of the dragons in their natural habitats, while also having fun listening to some Breath of the Wild music and fighting with our favorite characters. So another transitional stage I'd like to see based off the Legend of Zelda series is Zora's Domain. But not just any Zora's Domain, I'd like to see it based off of the Ocarina of Time one. So the idea is you start out in the entrance of Zora's Domain, looking at the waterfall, also looking down at the shopping area, and looking at, of course, the entrance where you come in from Lake Hylia. Then I was thinking they could make it to where you will transition to the King of Zoras. Then that transition lasts until the King of Zoras does his iconic scoot and grunt to reveal the passageway for you to go into Jaboon's graveyard. Then it'll transition to Jaboon's graveyard, where there will be random fish scattered everywhere. If you throw one of the fish at Jabu Jabu, he'll open up his mouth, and I was thinking either you both get sucked up and it transitions back to the beginning of Zora's Domain, or you both get sucked up and it does kind of another transition inside of Jabu Jabu's belly, and covering the main parts of that water temple. Moving on to the final game series, stages-wise, Xenoblade Chronicles. You have Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Xenoblade Chronicles X. I've never played any of those games, honestly, but I did do a little bit of research and saw some absolutely phenomenally beautiful places, and I just have to say, Sylvelum. I want to see a stage based on Sylvelum. I don't really care how the stage is presented, preferably tournament legal, because I really want a lot more tournament legal stages, because watching Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U competitively gets really boring when you have the same 5 or 6 stages. And they all pretty much start on Smashville. So, I think also I want Sylvelum to be presented in a way that optimizes how beautiful it is. And of course you have your music. There is a song that I have been listening to for the past few hours, and it's been stuck in my head, and it's absolutely amazing. It's called Sylvelum Night. I would like that to be a choice in the music streaming of that stage, along with any other music related to Sylvelum. Next, I want to talk about the character roster for this game. So, I think I'd like to see the Smash 4 roster, but extended. At least, I don't exactly know who I want on the character roster, but I want some new people. Definitely, I want some new people. Because I've only been playing the game for maybe a little over a year, maybe 4 months competitively. And at least Smash 4, that is. And I'm kind of like tired of seeing these characters already. I want a few new faces so that I can get that new feeling and then slowly start to come back towards who I used to play. So for the character roster, I know I said that there are plenty of Fire Emblem characters, but I want to see Azura from Fire Emblem Fates. And just because the other day I was playing Fire Emblem Warriors and I just absolutely fell in love with her design and the way she's an absolutely phenomenally beautiful character. And I would just love to see Azura in the Smash 4 roster. In addition to a new Fire Emblem character on the roster, I'd also like to see some new faces from the Final Fantasy series. Maybe put in Lightning or Noctis, Sephiroth to keep on with the villain and good guy trend from Nintendo. On top of that, I'd also like to see some new faces in the Sonic series. The only characters I would really be excited to see Nintendo announcing would be Silver or Shadow. My friend has been telling me since we've been playing Smash 4 for the Wii U that he's wanted Shadow. He's like, oh man, it would be so great if they put in Shadow. I'm just over here like, okay, yeah, I think it would be kind of great if they put in Shadow, but I feel like it would be one of those Melee, Captain Falcon, and Ganondorf things, where it would just be a ditto of Sonic, but Shadow. I also want to see new characters from the Xenoblade Chronicles series. You know, like I said earlier, I haven't played the Xenoblade Chronicles series, so I can't exactly form an opinion on who I want in the game from the Xenoblade Chronicles series, but just me as a newbie to the game, experiencing its beauty in pictures and its beauty in soundtrack, I want to see a new face from that series. Well, that's it as far as my opinions go for the future of the Smash series. I honestly just want Nintendo to give me another reason to buy one of their video games. I want them to give me another reason to buy Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Another reason to buy the new Sonic game that's coming out. So, just give me a bunch of good aesthetics. That's what I want. I'm a simple person. I want beautiful stages, beautiful music, and iconic characters. That's all I want from Nintendo. Thank you for watching today's episode of Nintendo Nerds. I'm Charles, and I will see you guys next video. Goodbye. Hello everyone, I'm Charles from the Nintendo